What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and welcome back to the Bazaar. Today, our core options are Critical Core, Ignition Core, and Armored Core. I'm definitely probably interested in trying one of these two that I have not ever even tried before. And I did see some reasonable Armored Core builds. The big thing about Armored Core is that it scales more than the other cores, at least more than Ignition Core scales. But I'm also somewhat tempted to try Critical Core, and just because there's so much opportunity to charge it, but it only deals damage. It only deals damage. So it's not a huge payoff. Like, it doesn't give things more crit when it activates. So I think I'm going to try out Armored Core here. And small non-weapon item could be useful. I think for now I will just grab some XP though. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then Haunted Kimono, when I've got the Armored Core, seems totally fine. There is the Banana, which seems interesting with the Armored Core, because whenever you use it, then you're just immediately gaining armor on the banana, and the banana gets to activate as well. So you could scale up a bunch of armor with that. I'm going to go for the Kimono, though. I think the Kimono is also the weakest of these early fights, and I'm not totally convinced that I'd be beating the banana. I don't exactly know what the banana has to battle with, but I know that I beat the Kimono with basically exactly the same item, a little bit better even, and 100 extra health. So let's just go for the surefire thing. I think that's a solid game plan. And I am loading up How Bazaar as we speak here. Also turning down my brightness a little bit. Alright, great. Easy win there. I don't need How Bazaar until tomorrow, but I've got it loaded up, and I do actually get, I think, a reasonable hit here. I mean, it's not great, because I'm going to sell it off eventually. It is worth an additional gold, though, so that's kind of interesting. Getting a slow item could be the banana. Sure. I'll go for banana. No, winds up being Induction Aegis as a slow item. All right, clearly this is tagged wrong, but it is an armor item, so I guess that's actually better than it ever could have been. And shield skills, why not? Why not? All right. Your shield items can crit. Your medium shields have +6. Your leftmost shield has +5. Your large shield has +12. Let's just put +6 on the core and battle up against Vanessa. Sure. I think it is better to scale the Induction Aegis than to activate this core more often. Yeah, we're definitely going to need the scaling. And my opponent's attacking in here pretty quickly, but there's a chance I could actually outscale them here, right? No, they're getting +6, and I'm getting +5, and their Shark Claws is faster, so I do lose this fight. Nothing I can do about that, then. Was 1 XP short of being able to play more things, but pretty unlikely to be able to do that on the first turn regardless. I needed another item of some sort here. Scrap could be interesting. 1 XP is probably the best thing I can do here, though. Medium items, get an item. I'll take a look at mediums, why not?
What can I get you?
While you have shield, this item's cooldown is reduced. I do feel like I'm always going to have shield. So going for Welding Torch as a 2.5 second item to trigger the Armored Core. Sure. Seems fine. It allows me to build more towards this burn path as well. Crit skills? Sure. We'll take a look. Use a large item, give adjacents crit. Your non-weapon items have 4% crit. Shh. Or just your items have 3% crit. That's better. Yeah, that's definitely just better. All right, now we actually have some interesting options here, I believe, because I do think that the coconut crab has an armor item. Yeah, the Crusher Claw. Your shield items gain 2 shield for the fight. Deal damage equal to the highest shield value of items you have. That seems reasonable. Rogue Scrapper is just a bunch of scrap. And then Tent City Mayor, I do believe, has some weapon scaling. It has augmented defenses, which is a way to get a bunch of shield on items. So that's kind of interesting. But I'm also just interested in the coconut crab. Let's go for this one. The Crusher Claw seems really cool. The Seashell, not so much. And these things could be fine as well. And I think we're going to be just fine against this opponent. But it would be really cool if we could steal the Crusher Claw, and then I've got 2 different items that are scaling shield. Unfortunately, this is not a shield item. But it is kind of neat that it is an item that I can put here. It will trigger the Armored Core. It is pretty slow at 8 seconds to activate. But it is still a way to monopolize on this shield scaling. So that's interesting. Let's see if we get it. This is a unique build for it, so I would be excited to pick it up here. And we get it. Nice. No problem at all. I will go to the Jungle Ruins. I do want to try to hit level 4 as soon as possible so that I can play all of these sweet items, get a tool, core cooldown, or scrap for plus shield. Scrap for plus shield is pretty interesting because I think that one of the ways that the Armored Core can work is that you just try to scale a bunch of shield off of it. Huh. Because, like, gosh for Bish, gosh for Bish, you, I like that. Gosh for Bish, you just get a bunch of shield and then play up against a poison player. Yeah, which just makes me feel terrible about everything I'm doing right now. But that's a conversation for another day. Do I just want a tool? I'll just go for core cooldown. I feel like that can never be wrong. And maybe there's some other ways to capitalize on all of this later. I will continue to go for XP until I'm level 4, even if it means playing a slightly underutilized build here. I think that all of this seems interesting. Now, I do think the core is not scaling itself, so it's a while till this Crusher Claw actually gets active here. Let's see if that's correct. Yeah, the Armored Core never scales itself. So I have to get this to above... Oh, but the Crusher Claw scales the Armored Core. So the Crusher Claw scales itself, but the Armored Core does not. A bunch of poison on me means that I am probably dead. Yeah, okay. Bummer. Monitor Lizard this early actually doing me in is a little unfortunate. I don't know, I kind of feel like I just need to pivot here. Pivot. Let's take a look at some silver items. I mean, Copper Ed, sure. It's a way to get some poison, or some shield on. I'll grab it. I mean, if nothing else, this is, like, interesting to just try to play a bunch of stuff like this here. Do you think Metronome is probably good? I don't know if I want to play it exactly just yet. But I could do. Yeah, that's 10 shield. So maybe I'll, like, cut that. And try to get these 2 things activating as much as possible. Because this will help this activate, and then this will help this activate. That seems reasonable. And then I'll push XP to try to level up one more time before the end of the day, so that way I can play everything that I want. Scout Trooper is a ammo-related build. Rogue Scrapper, I looked at. It does have scrap. It does have geared NOLA. Start of each fight, slow an item is fine. Tempest Flame Dancer I don't think really helps me, though. So I'm going to go for the Rogue Scrapper. And we'll find out if I have a build or not. I don't think my opponents... Yeah, this is not really a powerful build, so I'm not super worried about it. The Geared NOLA bar, not exciting. I think I'm just looking for the scrap. And then I might throw this... I don't really want to throw the scrap on Copper Ed, though. Yeah, I don't think that that's happening. But this is fine. Pretty reasonable haste back and forth on these two things is a pretty nice combo here. But I definitely do not feel super strong if it's this tough to take down the Rogue Scrapper, for sure. Feels a little bit terrible. We get a barbed wire. When you shield, this gains 5 damage. Oh, okay. Well, that's a nice little thing to add to the build here, I think, as well. Could upgrade the core. I think that's probably the best option here. Yeah, let's just upgrade it. Cool. And then Induction Aegis, honestly, I think that's going to go over here. Just because I think I'd rather hasten the core more. I don't know how Copper Ed just jumped, but I will keep Copper Ed right here, because potentially scaling an item to be bigger than the armored core could pump up the claw, and it's got a low enough cooldown. Oh, get a small shield item? Sure. Sure, why not? Oh, alright. Now this I think is quite nice. When you use an adjacent item, shield 5. I believe I really like this. And so, am I cutting the Induction Aegis? Which is nice for a little trigger onto the Armored Core. Right now, the Armored Core activates 4 seconds into the fight, which I am somewhat interested in. Bronze tier skills, probably. Small armor? Is this small armor? No, it's medium shield. I kind of use the word armor and shield interchangeably, so apologies, but I feel like most people know what I'm talking about. Your non-weapons. Let's just put a whole bunch more starting shield on the armored core. When you shield, this gains 5 damage. I've got 3 things shielding. But also... but this is really only a combo with the barbed wire. Huh. I could also... I like that the barbed wire is also such a lower cooldown. I could just cut the claw for the time being. There is one other option, which is I cut the Copper Ed and basically only have the duct tape here to exist off of the armored core as basically an extension of that. I don't think that that's crazy either. And playing more things before the core is just giving me a lot more armor, which I do think is going to be good in most scenarios early game. It's bad against specifically Monitor Lizard, which I do think is probably the most common type of dually comp, but this is not that. This is crit core, and so building a bunch of armor seems pretty solid against this opponent. They do have some burst, but I've got, I think, better scaling. They're really just scaling with Alpha Ray and Beta Ray, and then, of course, the critical core. And they're also scaling their crit, right, with Light Bulb. That doesn't seem super powerful. Wow, okay, well, it's powerful enough. Joke's on me. Unfortunate. I got the banana up to a pretty nice number there, but unfortunately that is not enough. So what's the plan from here? Maybe this is just 2-0. And what I actually need is barbed wire to carry me further. Get a tool. Sure, I'll just get a tool. When you slow, which this makes me slow. And that's it. All of your weapons. I don't think that that's useful. Gumballs, non-weapons, small shield item. Sure, why not? That is going to be an upgrade for bananas. Seems good. Could throw... I think I like the induction Aegis right here, actually. Dervish, Crooner, and Retiree. I know it's not going to be Retiree, though I'll read what they do. The Dervish gives your items crit chance and can reduce item cooldown, which is always fine. Retiree, I believe, is just health and heal. Yeah, it is. Okay. And then Deadly Crooner has scaling with the Ganjo and heal equal to your shield, which could actually be an interesting way to tackle poison-based builds. Something that would otherwise be a little bit difficult, a little bit spooky. I'm wondering if I shouldn't play the Welding Torch over the Aegis. But I think I like this initial activation, because then 4 seconds into the fight, both of these activate, charge this, and I immediately get to use this, which will then hasten the barbed wire again and start to scale up my other shielders. So I think that this is all right. Might be a little bit... It's a little bit loose to not play a full board, right? But a diamond scrap, textiles, and Ganjo all could be interesting options. Ganjo on the armored core while also pumping up like barbed wire or something could be interesting. My opponent's basically going to stay at full health, but so am I. And yeah, I mean, the poison, that's going to be the main thing. How much poison can I get on them? I currently have more health than they do because I've got more armor than they have. They are going to keep on healing mostly to full, but I think the Sandstorm will easily take them out eventually. I am scaling, but like, I don't know if the Crusher Claw's scaling ever makes sense. I think I just want to go more all in on barbed wire. As we can see, even by the end of that fight, barbed wire was better than the Crusher Claw. So I think that's ultimately where I'm going to end up here. Your tools have cooldown reduction. Upgrade your leftmost silver, which could be barbed wire. I have different ways to upgrade the core as well, or reduce its cooldown. Using this on a small item is definitely not that much value, but I think it's the best thing in our build right now. Now whenever I shield, it gains 10 damage. I think that's going to be good. Let's take a look for some health, toughness, and shield items, why don't we? And shielded thrusters. Adjacent items have their cooldowns reduced, but I really do... Oh, when you shield, charge this. Oh, I need Armadillo. Oh, I absolutely need Armadillo. That's really interesting, because I enjoyed the thrusters in the previous video, and an enchanted item seems cool. I'm very tempted to just buy all of this. And I'd be able to play it all, too. Alright, I'm certainly buying all of this. What I'm doing after that, how I'm actually putting these things into play, I'm not sure. Because I do want duct tape next to the armored core. And I do want the metronome next to the armored core. And I do want the... I could probably also put the metronome next to the armadillo, though, too. And then possibly do this. This might lead to a pretty fast core, which means Armadillo's doing some nice work. I think this seems solid as well. start with 500 shield. That's not how this works, right? No, no. That is... Whoa, relaxing is... Oh my gosh. Relaxing is really powerful for that thing that activates in 4 seconds and deals damage equal to your shield. Oh, wow, that is really cool. But for now, let's go on the mountain pass, and I do kind of feel like I need income. I'm still at 0 victories. This is going to be... We're in for the long haul here, you know? So let's try to get some income, because that's like 20 gold over the course of the game. I do have a bunch of gold currently in my sack, but let's try this out here. Shielded Thrusters is giving this a 5.4 second cooldown. I am scaling up a lot of shield here. I took a decent amount of initial burst, but I think I am now at a point of parity where I'm going to be able to survive. The musket hits me for 180. It's out of ammo now, though, and we're able to get the win. Yeah, all right, cool. There is our first victory, and up against an undefeated... sorry, I just got a message from Marvel Snap, and just taking a look at what they have for me to give away. If you also play Marvel Snap, I've got 2 mystery variants, 1 premium variant, and 1 green cosmic border. And I think those are all going to be 3 separate codes. Oh no, it's all one code. Okay. So that is something to look forward to if you are a Marvel Snap player. But that aside, maybe I go back on the mountain pass. Do I want more income? I mean, I kind of do. It's not that much later in the day than it just was previously. But I could also, this allows you to farm XP, which at some point becomes the most valuable thing in the game. Let's go for Escort Convoy. Oh, just get an item. Bummer. Bummer. Okay, so that was a waste of an encounter then. Sells tools. Sure, why not? Here's another shield item with 5-second cooldown. Haste, slow, freeze, burn, or poison. I don't even think this is that good. I mean, it's technically quicker than Copper Ed. But I am only really playing Copper Ed because it gains, like, just as a... It's not that important. This only cost me 1 gold to buy, though, really. So I guess it's fine. You sell another non-weapon, this gains 4 shield. I guess it's worth hanging on to the silk. Maybe something crazy could come out of it later, but I definitely don't need that. I'll buy the Chris Army knife for now. Then Mod Squad, I believe, is a bunch of friendship-related stuff. I definitely don't need the burn. Let me take a look at Mod Squad's ability. When you use a friend, your weapons gain 2 damage. That is not super important. They do have the crypto, though, and they're the most XP here. And I think I can take them on. But not super exciting. You grab the Chris and the crypto. Those are really the only things this has got going for me. But I think this build is good. Just like a bunch of armor, Armadillo to scale and activate more armor, and then a really big barbed wire attack here. Yeah, this is basically my whole build, more or less, but I think it's a fine build nonetheless. And it's good to have a scaling item with a sustain comp. Multiple scaling items, in fact. Bomb Squad, probably not going to cut it. Sharpening Stone, loot items, upgrade my leftmost silver, which could be the core, could be the metronome. Huh. I think I'll just upgrade the core. Sure. Why not? Plus 20 shield. Yeah, that starts to look pretty cool. And then I'll go for more health, toughness, and shield items. Maybe find some more enchanted things. Here's the force field. So, like, just grabbing one of these and then relaxing towards the end of the game actually seems really interesting. Haste your friends for 1 second. Don't think I'm really friend heavy enough. When this gains haste, oh, okay, so this is a combo. Your weapons gain plus 2 damage, and your shield items gain 2 shield. I don't think it's enough of a combo. And I don't know if force field is important enough, but I think the important thing here is I do actually just have the space to grab it. Because I'm never playing that thing. Don't even think I'm ever playing the Crusher Claw. 10 shield. Yeah, Crusher Claw, I mean, it currently smacks for 78, so it's more aggressive, but it's an 8-second cooldown. Unfortunately, yeah, if the Crusher Claw isn't good here, I don't know where it could be good, but I don't think it's good here, sadly. Gold tier skills seems good to me. 12 gold are going to be the cost. Your core has its cooldown reduced by 10%, while you have burn double this effect. Really good with thrusters, specifically. Your items have 30% crit chance. When you use an item, all of your items lose 10%. First time you fall below half health, slow enemy items for 3 seconds. If you have 4 or fewer items, oh, that's tricky, ain't it? I don't see how that would work with a core build. Let's go for overclocked. It seems cool with the thrusters, which I've already got online and enchanted. So, honestly, it seems like we are headed in a solid direction with that. Up against a 2-win dually. But I feel like I just got reasonably stronger here. There's also, like, my opponents can burn me. Yeah, sure, I'll take the burn, because that is just going to give me huge cooldown reduction on Armored Core, which is going to let all of these things get scaled really far. And also, oh, they've got the creeping toxins here. The corrosive toxins. When they poison me, yeah, I just had a full armor build. And so a few things went wrong there. But the main one was that I ran out of health, I suppose. To simplify it, let's just take a look at medium and large after that. See if we can't find triple damage if it's your only friend. But I don't think that's something I'm looking to do. Here's another shield item. Activates every 3 seconds. But I mean, it's better than Copper Ed, but I don't want to cut Induction Aegis before the core, I don't believe. Like, that's always the trick with this. It is actually technically faster than running both Copper Ed and Induction Aegis. Right? Because this activates every... So let's let highest common denominator is 12 seconds. In 12 seconds, this would activate 4 times. This would activate 2 plus 3 times. No, okay, so it's actually slower. But it's more synergistic to put on this side. So I could make my scaling a little bit worse. I think I will take it. I'm just grabbing everything that has armor on it, right? I think we will go into the mountain pass now and risk it for 1 XP. Burn cooldowns, tool cooldowns, upgrade your leftmost silver. Feel like upgrade your leftmost silver doesn't really have to be the duct tape. It could be the welding helmet. Upgrading the silk earlier actually could have been an interesting option. Maybe I just start upgrading the thrusters because they are... Oh, I do also have multiple burn items. I have 3 different burn items I could reduce the cooldown of. And then these burn items in tandem start to look a lot more tempting. Could even cut the metronome, which, I mean, it's giving a lot of haste from the armadillo onto the barbed wire, which I do think is good. Just getting this barbed wire in as many times as possible is probably solid. That also kind of implies I just want to play more of these items. All right, I'm going to just upgrade the shield and thrusters. It's fine value because it's an enchanted item. So we're actually getting a little bit of bonus value there. Dire Inglet, I don't imagine has anything super crazy. Yeah, it does not. What does Foreman do? Oh, he's got tools, doesn't he? When you use a tool, adjacent items gain crit. It also has Power Sander, Forklift, Crane, and then Lone Shark. Your weapons have plus damage equal to your income when you use an aquatic item. And then Cash Cannon. ATM. Gain shield equal to double your income. Deal 100 damage when you gain gold. Permanently give this plus damage equal to double the amount of gold gained. Huh. Kind of just makes me afraid I won't be able to beat them. I think I might just go for the Inglet. What did the Foreman have again? Foreman had... Oh, right. Tools. When you use a tool... You gotta check what even is tools of these relevant things. This is a tool. But it's when you use a tool, give things crit chance. Which is not super useful. I'll just go for the Dire Inglet. I think that this is fine. When you use a weapon, give it crit chance. Yeah, don't care. Lifesteal, lifesteal. Lifesteal, lifesteal, lifesteal. When you use a weapon, charge this. Your weapons gain additional damage. Huh. Kind of cute. Not super worried about it, though. And... yeah, I mean, using the Armadillo to give the barbed wire, like, permanent haste, I think is probably a reasonable enough combo. Let's sell through the Beta Ray, which I'm never using. Is there a ray that gives you armor? I don't know. Let's take a look at items with a high chance of upgrades. I should have actually sold through some of my dead things that I don't care about before going into this shop, but wound up finding reasonable enough things there regardless. Get a friend, work at the docks. I might take a trip down to the docks. Like, maybe there's a cool tool I could use. Oh, just get a shield item? Oh, yeah. Alright, cool. Ooh, when you use another aquatic item. I don't have aquatic items. Bummer. Bummer. Alright. Good energy, though, going to the docks to potentially get an armor item. I like the idea. Did not quite pay out for me, though. This dually had, I believe, 3 or 4 wins, and they are on Ignition Core, and they are not... So they're just going full Ignition Core to the right, so no scaling. But still a bunch of burn. That is going to give me increased core cooldown. They got through all of my armor, though, and they are chugging along here. This is spooky. Yeah, I'm dead. This is just so much burn. So, how many more losses until I'm done? 1 more loss, and I am done, and I will look at some diamond items at that point.
I'm pretty laid back.
Your shield items have crit chance. When the core gains haste, increase its damage. When you lose shield, this gains damage equal to only 10% of the damage lost. But, or of the shield lost. But is that better than barbed wire? That is something that I have to consider. It could be. Let's grab it
Oh, I think you're really
and throw in a roll after that. We've got the atomic clock. And we've got a level up here. Your burn items, your core gets plus 27 shield. Huh. Get a tool, get some poison. I think I will just grab 3 loot items. If I'm going to grab 3 loot items, I mean, I'm never playing this. And probably never playing this either. Because playing 2 things is just more activations than it. I'm somewhat tempted to go full all-in on Balloon Boy. But I might cut Metronome Barbed Wire for... I mean, the good thing about Armadillo is it's just charging the core. That's the whole idea there. I got Feather, Vial of Blood, and Eagle Talisman. Eagle Talisman either on the Balloon Bot or the Force Field or probably the Armored Core. Just because it activates the most. But there's some interesting options here. Oh, first 5 times you shield each fight, charge an item 1 second. That is solid. When you haste, give your items 1 crit. First time you use a large. First time you haste, freeze an item for 3 seconds. That is also pretty good. But this feels sweet. So I'm going to grab it. It does kind of bankrupt me for the turn, but I'm into it. Wait, Treasure Turtle could be good, couldn't it? What does Treasure Turtle have? Your shield items have plus 12 shield, and when you fall below half health, shield equal to 30% of your max health. Okay, those aren't great. But the Thug is... Oh, enemy cooldowns increased is actually really great too. And I believe that they have like... yeah, the Thieves Guild Medallion. And then Viper Tyrant is just going to be not super relevant. I think I'm going to go for the Turtle. And I think I'm going to try Angry Balloon Bot instead of this combo. I'm just wondering if I ever simply want to move this Aegis over here. But I think I like the Aegis hastening the core still. Yeah, I think I do. There's another question. I think I should... Because I think I'm always keeping the Armored Core around. So I will give that plus 15 crit percent. And I don't think I need to do this against the PvE fights. But I will probably use the Feather before the end of the day. Let's go into the Treasure Turtle fight here. I think Angry Balloon Boy... It's Angry Balloon Bot, right? But I like to call him Angry Balloon Boy. I think he's going to be pretty reasonable here. Though, oh no, this was a horrible tech call. It does absolutely nothing against this opponent because they do not clear my shield. So hopefully their Catfish does not scale up to anything too crazy because this is purely a shield off right now. I do think we're looking good in a shield off that I'm just going to have a higher number than them. But this was a definite misfire. I should have played my other build. Because this would have been up to like 500 damage by the end of the fight, which would have added up. It would have actually dealt some reasonable damage to my opponent before we were done here. At 7k shield, I'm not sweating it. But, yeah. Little bit awkward nonetheless. This did start to scale up, potentially, as I Lost armor. Oh, when you use another non-weapon... Whoa. Give your other items +5 shield. Oh, whoa. Okay. Huh. There's gotta be a way to work that in. Unfortunately, the way to work that in might be to cut the balloon bot so that and then play the barbed wire. Because I think what we're going to see here is cooldown reduction on my 2 scaling items with the shielded thrusters. And then induction Aegis over here so that it can trigger the duct tape. When you use another non-weapon, shield 38. Oh, that actually is worth scaling too. So maybe I could do this. Could also still just do this. Huh, there's some options here for sure. Haste item, small item, chocolate bars. Chocolate bars when I just have a huge weakness to poison is reasonable. Do have to sell out of a few things to get some chocolate bars, but I think I'm done with Copper Ed forever. It seems like I should be done with Copper Ed forever, really just because I think I'm always going to play the barbed wire, and I'm always going to play the armadillo. I need to play the barbed wire for damage, and I need to play the armadillo or the angry balloon bot for damage. I think I need to play the armadillo just to trigger the armored core more times. I think all of that is right. So I think I'm going to sell Copper Ed plus Force Field and buy some chocolate bars. And actually buy some. I think that's right. Puts me a little bit low on cash, but also levels me up. Core cooldown, get a shield item. Can that be from any class if that just says get a shield item? Huh, that's somewhat tempting actually. But I think I just go for core cooldown. Now with this, basically both of these things just get like free additional activations. So that seems sweet to scale both of those. Huh. There is some incentive to do this. Yeah, this is cool. Now 3.6 seconds into the fight, the armored core will activate. Let's grab a shield item from the docks and hope that we don't... This is an aquatic item. Hold on. When you use another aquatic item, charge this. So this has a 4-second cooldown. Huh. Effectively. Not quite. Not quite. But I might hang on to this now a little bit longer, because if I find a few more aquatic items, maybe find a seashell, go full Vanessa, could be interesting. Alright. Yeah, so basically putting this to have the least amount of cooldown. Oh, my opponent is also going for a huge amount of shield. And then are they killing me? Or they're scaling the laser security system. So we are both just going for crazy amounts of shield. And this could even potentially be my very first, like, no death. Wait, this is a bug, right? 999 gold? Or that's like a in combat related thing. I don't know. This is wild. But basically, I mean, we're both scaling up. I'm scaling much more than my opponent, though. But I wonder if the Sandstorm will be fast enough to kill my opponent here. If it's not, I believe it will be. But we could see my very first game where the Sandstorm does not kill. No, it eventually gets up to 100 and takes my opponent out, but I out-shielded a pig. That feels pretty good. The pig might have had more initial skill, but shield. That's interesting. I've never seen this before. Some of the Bazaar's most remarkable technology has been collected here in Dooley's workshop. Upgrade your leftmost friend, upgrade the core, and gain 10% max health, or choose a free friend. Upgrade the core to diamond seems good. Upgrade my leftmost friend. This is currently my only friend, and it doesn't really care to be upgraded. I kind of like keeping this as my only friend, too. Let's upgrade the core to a diamond armored core. Might go eat some chocolate. I think I will. I'm just afraid of the poison. I mean, I actually shouldn't be afraid of the poison. I am just going to lose to the poison. There's nothing to be afraid of. Let's get rid of this. And let's just go for bronze chocolate bars. Burnator bot, car conductor, but I do not have a vehicle. Take a look at Burnator bot real quick. It is... Oh, it does have a few of the same items I do. When you slow, haste an item. Yeah, a lot of very similar items. Deal 2 damage, burn equal to 1 times this item's damage. Burnator bot seems really bad. I'm almost curious if something is missing from the website here. And what does Joyful Jack do again? Is this like when you poison, when you heal poison? I am just going to go for the highest level encounter, maybe try to get some XP here. Doesn't look like anything super powerful. When you slow haste, when you slow charge this, but how are they even slowing? Oh, this slows. Yeah, this just does not seem like a build, to be totally honest. And the electrified hull is pretty good. That's another reason to get some additional cooldown reduction on the induction Aegis. How do I kill my opponent again? Oh yeah, the barbed wire. Alright, this next barbed wire hit will knock him dead. And I've got 16,000 armor. I'm good against Vanessas. I actually just don't want to fight up against Doolies. And if there's a lot of Vanessas, this could be a solid metagame call right here. But we'll see how many Doolies we wind up facing up against. This is a level up. Core cooldown reduction, 2 scrap shield. I mean, core cooldown reduction is always good. These are, yeah, both 3.6. Which means I'm activating the core at 3.6, but could activate it more, try to get it down to 4, and then I've got 4 items over here, which is something that seems interesting. I do like getting a shield item, but how do you not just always click this button? That is something I don't know. I would love to visit Kev and grab another upgraded thing. I meant enchanted. This is a double shielded geared Nola. 4-second double shield is interesting with the scaling. Could make it better than this, but the fact that it's going to have very limited ammo is pretty awkward. As far as chargers are concerned, I think, Kev, I'm not interested, unfortunately, bud. What are my other tools here? I think I'm just interested in small items. I've got 4 of those. Let's see what other options you got for me here. Coolant is always interesting with the thrusters. Hasting the core, also fine, but I think I'm good for today. And a 1-win Vanessa is more or less all I can ask for. I'm going to hang on to my feather for a little bit longer here even. Just because I feel, I mean, she's talking about don't underestimate me, but I kind of am underestimating. Oh, it's a reload. I see flashy reload, and I see the pirate for more armor. Oh, harpoon could be nasty. And it is an icy flagship. Holy moly. That is really annoying. I can't even unfreeze here. Oh, I'm so slow, and they're blowing up my items to make me even slower. Oof. I am still finding a way to scale and get shield, but they're going to take out my duct tape and my thrusters here soon. But maybe I'm still scaling faster than them. It is actually possible. They get to take out the duct tape last. But have I scaled enough that it doesn't matter? I think that I have. I think that I've just outscaled them here, and there is a little bit of awkwardness because this now freezes my whole board. But if I can just gain a little bit, oh, I just needed like one more armor activation. Oh, and I would have had it. So now I get a diamond item or a bunch of cash and XP or a random enchantment. I'm going to go for a free diamond tier item though and see what we get. Freeze all items other than the core. I think it has to be the cryosphere. And maybe I take on the enforcer again. The what's it called? The Vulcus enforcer tomorrow, not even today. And just like have this as an interesting option. So maybe I build some haste for it as well. Sure. So I don't think this is a combo with Monitor Lizard. I mean, it's not a combo. I'm going to leave this encounter, though. Skills could be nice, though. Small non-weapon. Let's take a look at skills. First time you slow. You upgrade a friend. Your other items. Oh, interesting. I think the first time you slow freeze is good. It's good enough. It's good enough. I do have multiple weapons. So that makes me feel like Armadillo is not the answer. I probably could have won that fight if I had sold the feather. I think that that's very possibly true, awkwardly. Bloodreef Captain needs you to have a vehicle. Enclave Revenant is not relevant, I don't think, ever. So maybe I do go for Pharos, and if I get the one weapon thing, then I go for it, and I get out of the Armadillo and try to make an insane barbed wire. And I could then, with the increased cooldown reduction, actually activate Armored Core even sooner, potentially. Let's see what we can do. I think that this fight is going to be fine as well, because as long as I can scale up enough armor before this hits me, I will survive. It does have a 30% chance to crit, which is really annoying, but it doesn't crit. And then can I get up enough armor again to survive it again? I can. So I think I'm going to be alright. Yeah, my armor, as long as it doesn't... Oh, now even it can crit. And I'm fine. It can even hit me again and crit again. And I'm looking good. So this is a win. And if you only have one weapon, it deals triple damage and has its cooldown, oh, increased by 50%. Increased. I cannot read. Oh. Huh. That's kind of bad either way you split it. When you use a non-weapon item, this gains shield. This gains shield. I don't think that that's as important as anything else that we are doing here. Let's just sell out of medkit, because that's never working. Upgrade my leftmost item is probably the shielded thrusters or the turtle shell. Turtle shell to diamond. or shielded thrusters for more charge on this? Yeah, let's go shielded thrusters. It's just going to help this activate even sooner. Get a friend, get a temporary boost. Sell small. I've got 3 different small items I could upgrade here still. Don't think it's any of these. How about these? Nah. Gold tier items, shield skills. I'll take a look at shield skills. I think I'm about to fall off here, though. When you shield, your weapons gain 6 damage. That actually turns Armadillo into a barbed wire. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. If I can turn Armadillo into a barbed wire, then Armadillo is all I need. And at that point, Pearl even becomes playable. I use another aquatic item, charge this 1 second. Still don't know if this is that good, but I'm really liking sharp corners. When you use a weapon, your shield items gain shield. No, it's 100% sharp corners here, which is something that I did not know existed, but now that I have it, could it allow me to get it through? I'm playing exactly 1 weapon. I don't know if that's really necessary. 3.5 seconds into the fight, I will activate Induction Aegis, activating Armored Core, activating Armadillo, getting Armored Core pretty quick to activating again. Let's go for it. Now it happens 3.3 seconds into the fight. If this ain't it, I mean, if my opponent's playing Monitor Lizard here, I'm just boned, but this feels like I'm pushing it for the possibility. Oh, it does look like they are poisoning here, but I do not see. Okay, so it's burn. That is good. That is really, really good, because if this was Monitor Lizard, they just totally ignore my shield. Now they've got to mess with my shield, and they got to mess with the Armadillo, which is actually getting in here for really reasonable damage, activating nearly every second for damage that keeps going up and shield that keeps going up and up. That's a win against a 7-win silver victory dually. So all I need to do is avoid every single Monitor Lizard dually for the rest of the game. And here's an interesting thing. Past like day 12, I might stop seeing those dualies because they might just have won, or more realistically, I might see even more of them. I think that that's actually what would wind up happening here. But come on, just let me have this for a moment. I think Angry Balloon Bot and Flamethrower, I think all of these are basically ready to go. I'll hang on to these 2 for another second. I'm thinking about just grabbing some chocolate. I don't see a world in which I can ever beat Poison. But I think I have to try. The only other thing that I'm thinking is if I play up against another dually, what I can do is... No, it's not worth it. I'm just going to go for bronze still. It's just simply not worth it. Sparring partner does seem really good to battle up against, because I've got some nice scaling against them. This is actually like an ideal build for sparring partner, because I'm going to be able to... I could even potentially get the sparring partner ability, right? Now, you can't actually get it, but basically I'm going to survive whatever comes from the sandstorm, and I'm scaling my weapon. This cleanses, burn, and heal, and doubles their max health, but scaling weapons and scaling armor is actually, I think, the best way to get full value on the partner. I don't believe that I've ever gotten this number to say more than 5. Maybe I've seen it at 6, but I've only gained the 5 gold, which is gaining 15. So we'll say 15 is my record. We'll see if we can get to 21. I do believe I'm going to easily get to 21 here. The question is, could we get to 28? Sandstorm's rolling in. It is also a race up against the clock, but certainly possible. Right now, I am battling for 15. And I just have so much health that I'm not looking to die. That was 15. This is 21. I believe that this number gets up to 600 and then stops. That was 21. Can I get to 28 gold? I do think I'm going to get to 28, so can I get to 36? I think I will. Yeah, 36. Right? As long as the sandstorm doesn't subside, it might... Oh, I ran out of health. I ran out of health very quickly at the end there. So what did I get then? 28, I believe, was the number I said. That's pretty cool. I now do not have to worry about gold for the rest of the game. And on day 10, our encounters are Void Golem. Let's go Hulkling Experiment first, which is regen for each ammo you have. And nothing else of note. Trash Titan does have something good, doesn't it? It's like when you use a small item, charge a large item. That's interesting. But I don't think I'm ever getting off of Armadillo here, to be honest. So what does Void Golem have? At the start of each fight, destroy an item on both players' boards. Could be bad for me. And when you destroy an item, increase your burn. They've got caltrops. All right, this is way too much shenanigans. What does the Hulkling do again? Yeah, I just don't want to be fighting up against this guy with this. I think I'm just going to go up against the Hulkling Experiment here. It's just an easy win. I'll grab the 2 XP and be content with that. I wasn't feeling like I could take on the other stuff there, so not going to worry about it. Both players have some poison that could be a little nasty with reload your potions. Yeah, I didn't consider that this was a poison build. I think it's going to be alright, though. I think Armadillo is just cracked. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. Wabam. Got to at least get to a bronze victory with this build, because it seems like I'm doing sweet stuff, right? Rainbow Potion's cool as well. What do we get here? We can get 3 loot, value, burn cooldown, which is actually good. All right, I'll take burn cooldown then. I'll throw it on this as well. Freeze 1 item for 2 seconds. No, I'm never playing that. But I'll throw some cooldown here. And get a burn item, sells medium item. Yeah, I'm going to shop for small once again. Uzi is cute. Is it ever Uzi just being better than Pearl? It is pretty slow, if we're being totally honest. This cost me 8. It's not really that much. I don't care that I'm playing 2 weapons. It's actually fine because this scales all of my weapons. 2-second cooldown will not allow the armored core to activate faster. Unless I would have put it like right here, and then this is reduced by 12. It activates like 3 point... No, I think this is best. But just a bunch of quicker charges on the core, I think is actually just correct. Let's grab it. And see what else we can find here. Gear Nola. Still a 4-second cooldown item, though. Yeah, that's never super interesting. Shield skills are interesting, though. An upgrade for this could be cool. At diamond, your small shield items have plus 30 shield. Your rightmost shield has plus 15. When you crit, your shield items gain shield. I mean, I think it's got to be the microfiber here, which is most of my board, so it seems pretty cool. Yeah, and I mean, I have the cash for it. Up against Vanessa, do I ever want the Uzi? Do I ever just want a 2.0 second item activating? I can actually make the armor core activate before the pearl, or before the induction Aegis. Yeah, so now it activates 3 seconds into the fight. And what if I do this? 1.8 plus 1.8, no. This is probably still better because the Uzi will run out of charges. But I think it is right to play the Uzi. All right, let's see if me or this Vanessa can... I know that I'm playing Ghosts, but this Vanessa is at 3 wins. That's what I'm getting at here. So we'll see who can get to a silver victory. They have got a fiery trebuchet. When you use a weapon or haste, charge this. It has double burn and life steal, but no poison, importantly here. And no scaling. They are activating this thing pretty quickly, but I think the fact that I'm not dead just means that I can't die, and playing the early Uzi was pretty good. It's also hitting for a sizable chunk of damage here in the late game. This does have life steal, but at this point, I have gained enough shield scaling that I'm untouchable, and I will eventually just be able to one-shot them. Even though I am going to lose the Uzi, I am just barely able to take them out right before, or right after, really, I ran out of Uzi ammo. Right before it actually mattered, though. So that gets me to a bronze victory. 4th win on day 11. I would love some other cool upgraded, like an upgraded Uzi would be really cool. Oh wait, that's what this is? +1 multicast if it is next to, if it is adjacent to a friend. I think when you take damage from an item, shield equal to 30% of the damage dealt. I don't know why this has an arrow, because this is not an active. When you use any item to the left of this, it gains damage. When you use any item to the right, it's interesting. It's interesting. But the shielded pulse rifle with a huge multicast for being next to Harmadillo, I think actually tracks. It would make me a little bit slower. Oh, it is also... Right. I need to use non-weapons. Huh. There are a few really interesting things going on right now. I do have a lot of cash. I'm thinking about just like buying both of these and maybe making a decision later. I think I'm off of this forever. Sure. So let's buy the bunker and the shielded pulse rifle. And that basically bankrupts me, which is a little bit awkward. Let's take a look at gold tier. I'm not surviving poison. Enemy cooldowns are increased by 1. It's a really cool item. But I don't think I can justify it. I don't think I can ever justify this either, to be totally honest. I think this is the only thing that I could maybe do. But here's the interesting thing. Now that I've cut my early things, my Harmadillo is activating a lot less. And that might actually just be worse. I know this is going to be... Oh, but when this activates, it immediately charges the Harmadillo. It's probably worth the trade-off. Thing is, so here's what's interesting. If you look at this, this is 2 shields, and this is 2 shields, meaning these 2 slots make up a combined 4 shields. This is a little bit, it's probably about the same because the idea was to use this to charge the core. So I would say that this is also about 4 shields. This is only 3 shield activations because it's just multicast and it doesn't trigger on the turtle shell. It reduces the need for the turtle shell, but it immediately by itself activates the armadillo. It also scales itself. Playing less items is also better. That is something worth considering. Right now I activate 3.5 seconds into the fight, a 0.5 second decrease. This will immediately activate the armored core and the armadillo, potentially activating the armored core again, because the armadillo will activate twice. Yeah. So it's looking to be pretty sweet. I don't see a... So here is actually the question, though. Like, if we reduce our reliance on the turtle shell, then do we actually ever want the chrono barrier? And that could be it. I think I do want to pick this up, actually. Which I think involves, honestly, probably selling out of the bunker. But a lot of cool things just happened. There is like some part of me that also says just like roll. Because I've got a lot of gold items I could be interested in upgrading. I don't really see myself playing this. Yeah, I'm not playing it. Let's roll. Oh, Wallace. Totally forgot about that guy, didn't I? This gains 15 shield. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting as an only friend option, but Armadillo is just so much better that I can't do it. I think I can take on Lord of the Wastes. Sure, I don't care. I'm pretty sure I can. Whenever any player uses an item, all items gain crit chance. I could actually see playing that. I skipped it in my previous video because I did not want to deal with it. How are we looking, though? I feel like I'm looking all right, actually. Yeah, the Armored Core is activating a bunch here. And I do think I still like the Shielded Thrusters. I should, though, take a look at what this board looks like without the Shielded Thrusters. Quadruple crit damage, you say. Interesting. 2 cinders, extract, the core gains additional shield, leftmost item gains more value, or +1 XP. The core gains 21 initial shield. Barrier protocol. No, I think I just want to try to level up and get some additional things going on here. Non-weapon, small and large. Let's go non-weapon. Most of the things I'm looking for are not weapons. There's the chrono barrier again. Charge the item to the left. Just roll. Oh, here's Balloon Bot. When you use the item to the right, this gains shield, which is not actually giving me shield. It's just scaling the Balloon Bot. It's okay with the Armadillo. But ultimately, I don't think it's where I want to be. So 3.5 means that this activates 3.5 seconds into the fight. I guess by removing this, I'm never improving on that. Yeah, now it activates 4 seconds into the fight. So I do think I need the shielded thrusters. Is there any universe where I just try to make it all faster? No, because I probably do want the shielded pulse rifle activating as soon as possible. Though if I have the Uzi over here... Oh, hold on a second now. I think this is cutting too much shield. But if I put the Uzi over here, this activates 3 seconds into the fight, actually before the shielded pulse rifle. It could be a crazy pivot to this. Which would be like something like this. And the reason I bring that up is, oh, I already rolled off the chrono barrier. Dang. This would activate this 3 seconds into the fight. I'm just looking. I'm just considering some options here. I'm never buying anything here. Small items, relax. Yeah, here's where that other thing... I mean, I probably just have to relax whenever possible, huh? Let's see what I'm up against. Vanessa. Okay, so I think I actually can relax here a little bit against a Vanessa. Because they're going to try to burst me. And I think I can play around that by going for this stuff. Do I ever just want to not use the banana? Banana says when you use an adjacent, but it is like a rather slow thing. But now I'm using so many... Basically just this activates whenever the core activates, which might just be fine enough. That might just be an alright thing to do, to just say, okay, Turtle Shell activates whenever the core activates. And not activates, but shields. And there is one more option, which is to also use the Turtle Shell on this side to pump up the core. And then again, there is actually just this. And then Armadillo and Uzi. But I don't think I need to give this more scaling shield. It would be a lot of shield. But the important thing isn't how much shield I'm getting. It's how many times I get shield. That's the important thing. I think. I think that how many times I get shield is really what I care about. So to that measure, the duct tape is reasonable. But it almost even makes me want to go full circle again. Okay, wait. Let's take a look at this build. What about this? When you use an adjacent item. This is interesting. This is a lot of shield. It puts the scaling over here, which is relevant. This just gets used whenever this gets used, which would be pretty frequently, and then that's charging this still. So the banana could definitely... I kind of like this build now. Currently, the armored core is activating 3 seconds into the fight, which is fine. I've got the Uzi. And the Uzi is what's making this activate. If I had other, like, more cooldown on the barbed wire, then I could play that instead. But I think I'm cutting my aquatic package here. And I think this is right. Hopefully that was, like, somewhat interesting and entertaining to watch through. I also don't need to be as fast because I do have the initial starting armor, but I do think I still want to be as fast. My opponent has a dog, but they have seemingly very little scaling. It's just the catfish, which is going to get me for about 300 poison by the end of this fight. But I think, I mean, we've totally neutered the dog here, I believe. other than when they can chomp down my shield enough that they can actually get through. But I think this is going to be all right. Oh, they're also life-stealing. That's the big part about the dog, is that they are life-stealing back to nearly full health. But they're not getting through my armor. This is what I have to watch right here. The poison underneath the armor. How are we doing? Oh, it's very close. And I lose. Unfortunate. Only a bronze win, but still a pretty cool build, I think, that this is worth posting and talking about, because I'm curious, like, on feedback for this. Like, what is it that I could have done better that you noticed, for sure, if there were some, like, glaring weaknesses in how I tried to use the Armored Core, or just was trying to use the Armored Core, the weakness in of itself. I do think that there's probably something here with sharp corners and Armadillo and the Armored Core. That way, all of this armor is pumping up the Armadillo and activating the core even more. But maybe I still should have found a way to keep in the turtle shell. It did seem like I was considerably slower. The turtle shell, I guess if you think about it, the turtle shell activating every time you use the core, and the banana. Maybe I could have put the turtle shell here, but then I like have to cut this stuff. It's tricky. Maybe all of that stuff. Yeah, maybe I should have gone shielded pulse rifle, thrusters, core, banana, turtle shell. And that just leaves me with the most Armadillo activation, so this thing is always chugging along, and that would be enough for the core. But for today, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.